It's Monday, May 18th. We're in the south greenhouse and it's around noon. Dark, cloudy, kind of drizzly, rainy day. And just kind of showing you the greenhouse on probably the last video of the semester. There's the fancy foliage geranium. There is the purple heart. Tradescantia. There's our mix of coleus just going crazy. The good news on the coleus is our campus operations landscape person wants to use lots and lots of that for campus purposes, so that's great. Just lots of kind of overgrown coleus. For your information, if you're ever working with coleus that's overgrown like this, I'm going to try to pull one out just so you can kind of see. Here it is in a tiny little pot. I'm going to have to put it down just because of how overgrown it is. And you can tell it's really quite top heavy, rooting nicely, so you could put it in just like this, or you could decide to cut it back. And by cutting it back, you'd allow it to really bush out. But there you can kind of see they look great. They're just really overgrown for what we would have normally done would be to cut them back and do more propagation into smaller sizes. So again, you can see all the variation in color on the coleus. Here is our little achuga. This is called black scallop. That's a landscape ground cover. So I think we're going to use that outside here on campus just to demonstrate some of the ground cover options. Okay, kind of backing up on this one. A little bit of a picture of our downy mildew resistance Imara impatiens. That's the violet. I think it looks really good. Here is another seed impatiens. That's accent, which is sort of an old-fashioned cultivar, and that was a mix. One thing that you probably didn't get a chance to see is some of the flowering tobacco. Here you can see one of the cultivars that we had called Tinkerbells, and you can kind of see why it got that name. They look like little bells as they dangle down. Many of the flowering tobacco have nice scented foliage, so again, that's something, scented flowers, so that's something that's kind of fun to think about with those. We also had one type of flowering tobacco called Only the Lonely. That one gets white dangling flowers that are about 3 or 4 inches long. The flowers themselves are that large. And then the plant gets 6 feet tall. So it's kind of an impressive and interesting annual. Also, we have some of our tomatoes that are overgrown from our grafting project. So probably gonna see if we can plant some of those in our little garden here. Not sure. I think we're gonna also try to show and have some of those from the grafting be demoed in the garden. Here is our red Malabar spinach, kind of an interesting vining plant with edible leaves. Over here we have our ferns that are really coming along nicely finally. So there you can kind of see lots of new foliage, looking really pretty in the baskets. Again, they're in the 8-inch baskets, and we also had some in the 4.5-inch tall. Over here, you can see some of the sensitive plant finally getting moving. Also some of the propagation of the gardenia. We have some lobelia coming into flower. It's mostly floppy looking because I watered it recently. Some of our natives, again, still doing their thing. I know this is a really interesting one that's been one of the few seed-started plants, and this was a transplant from Nami's, and it was supposed to be a hardy kiwi. It really looks different than the hardy kiwi we have, and there are quite a few different cultivars, so something a little different. We have a really nice thyme coming along. Some of our golden lemongrass is interesting. Again, I know I talked a little bit about this little liverwort that's going to town in some of these areas that have high mist. Okay. This little one is Love in a Mist Nigella. and pretty soon you'll see the really interesting flowers. So that's kind of pretty ferny foliage and just a little annual that's sort of interesting. Here's the lupine, perennial lupine, and that should bloom this year. Getting a little bit dried out on occasion, so it has sort of a sad foliage here and there. Here is our salvia. That one is called Lady in Red, an annual salvia, but it does self-seed quite a bit. Our dahlias, some of them have been picked up by folks who are interested in working a little more with the dahlias, and I have been cutting the flowers back as much as I can because I was getting a feel that we had some thrips there. So sometimes I'll even blow on it and see if you can get the thrips moving. See if I can have that both be in the picture and taken care of here. Okay, a little strange. Often that little disturbance, yep, I can even see it there. That little disturbance will bring out a thrip, and if you look at that petal, you can see there's a little thrip in there. So again, be aware, that's something to know that we do have some active thrips in this. Okay, sorry. Got looking at all that. Here is some seed-started rosemary. Here's some of the lavender that was started, and we did have that starting to come into bloom. Here's some seed-started sage. So again, just to know, you really can seed start some of the herbs and have them finish for a spring sale. Here's our crazy little isolepsis, which is our fiber optic grass. It has crazy little flower structures at the end of each of the foliage leafy stems. Okay, here is our lobelia. There's a little mixer for a hanging basket, just to kind of give you a feel. That was started way back in February, and it was one of our mystery seeds. And yes, it is lobelia fresh look. Okay. Over here is some of our tropicals. There is our ginger root. Here is some of the bamboo that was started actually in fall. Over there are some of the turmeric. If you're a cook, you hopefully know a little bit about turmeric. There's our bananas, still getting lots of new leaves and looking really pretty. Here is our either the green Santolina. I always forget the name of this, so I thought I'd put the tags in. I have the green Santolina tag here, but I suspect it's actually the silver. In any case, it is the Santolina. Okay? Lots of Pennisedum, lots of our sedum for hanging baskets. Nami's moringa, very different treatments, showing different results. So this first one said media 2 to 1 to 1. The second one was the media 1 to 1. And then the third one on the media was 2 to 1 to 1 again. And this one definitely looked the best of that treatment mix. But even better was the one that was started a little earlier, and they just took off and are doing great. Okay. We do have our Fairchild Red. Okay, that's our Cordylan. Haven't really been happy on how this has looked. I don't know why. It has some problems, but it just didn't seem to be doing really well here. So that sometimes happens if you aren't really watching it. Okay, and then our last bench, of course, I've been moving some of these outside. Those sort of overgrown pots are now outside. So again, rainy day. And you can kind of see, we're just seeing if we can get those to adjust to outdoors. And then our full bench of succulents is doing really well. And we're gonna set up those little 5 packs of plants and just find people who would be interested in those. Okay? Okay, you guys, that should be the end of anything I record for the South Greenhouse.